waiting on everybody to get in right now. Um, Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Whenever you see this, I'm gonna wait. I don't know why I feel the need to start talking as soon as I press record, but let everybody get in. Okay, I can't really see the chat room or anything right now. I've been learning this stuff, so bear with me. So I just want to start off by saying thank you for everyone who's made this possible. It's really hot right now. I have no AC in this truck. I drove a little bit away from my apartment so I'd have a way to just chill this time. Last time I felt like I was just going an ADHD overload with the dog and trying to walk and talk at the same time. So I'm trying to learn how to push this forward with the most ease and comfort as possible, but unfortunately I have no AC. So I just really wanted to give everyone a chance to ask questions. If you haven't been here before, I'm starting a YouTube channel sharing my journey through foster care and a lot of my mental health struggles as well. And of course, the lessons I've learned along the way, that's really helped me to really navigate without a lot of anxiety, stress, panic attacks. I was having all those. So I just had to really learn how to filter my life that kept me in the highest vibration possible, right? So I started to change my music, my everything. Started to really look at what kind of music I was listening to, the games I was playing as far as on PS5, just everything that I was taking in and absorbing, I put under a fine-tooth comb, and I basically just, started doing things one at a time. I noticed that when I was going through a lot of anxiety or a depressed state, a lot of times I would gravitate toward music that kind of, it felt like familiar, but after a while I started to ask myself, like, what would happen if instead of listening to something like Mudvayne or, I'm a early 2000s. That was when I was a teenager, so a lot of that stuff I was listening to from back in the day. I don't know if anyone knows about that type of music right offhand, but a lot of it wasn't just, it wasn't for positive mindset. And one day I just started to, instead of going to something that I would normally gravitate to, I started to reach out to different music genres. I discovered a lot of cool genres in reggae Christian. So yeah, I started doing that a little bit at a time, and before long, it just become just like going to the other music. It become kind of second nature when I be going through something. Going through I struggle from PTSD, borderline personality disorder, major depression, severe with psychotic features, and central auditory processing disorder. That's what's been diagnosed so far. I'm not really worried about anything else. I feel like that was the main thing, was just maintaining my anxiety, doing things that promoted a positive mindset, and just looking at myself in the mirror and starting to finally start to heal and let stuff go that I've been carrying for so long. I was in a number of foster homes. In my last live, I got up to the point to where me and my sister, we was going to enter into foster care. That was around 7 years old for me. She was 5, and my dad, as I mentioned, he struggled with mental health issues as well, and he also had polio. Um, so I was always kind of the protector there when things would kind of go awry. I was the one that kind of wanted to make peace in the house. You know, uh, Doing whatever I could to like make the environment go back to more tolerable. um, but yeah, one night after my mom left my dad due to me telling her to leave because it just wasn't safe. Um, Me and my sister, we entered foster care. That's where we actually started to learn how to eat at a table for the first time. A lot of times we were just eating what we could at school, um, but we never ate at a table. We didn't really have much of a household, as far as stuff to select from. Um, so during the winter, we'd even sleep in the same bed. Um, we'd have plastic over the windows. We didn't have any heat like we should. I think it was just a space heater. Um, but ultimately, my dad struggled with a mental health crisis one night and alcohol as well. And he started shooting off the gun, and the cops came and pulled me and my sister away from there. Um, we entered foster care, and the very first one was really nice. I remember her name was Wanda. She had a little baby, and that's where we learned how to sleep in a proper bed all by ourselves, like hygiene, eating at a table. Um, she would even time us. I know it was aggravating because we'd get distracted and be talking and stuff, instead of eating and getting to our homework and all that. Um, and then it wasn't long before we entered another home. Um, she went on vacation and couldn't take us with her. So me and my sister, we went to a different home, and I believe that's where we were separated. This was at the Yorks, and I was kind of in the country now, with all this freedom. Didn't know what to do with myself most of the time. Um, Staying outside, the old late 90s vibe. We was all outside riding bikes, cards in our tires. Um, at some point, I may go into more detail about my foster home life, but just know that I was in a number. Uh, I think one time I counted, and it was like up to 14, from the ages of 17 to 14 years old. And then I was adopted, and that didn't go well. Also, I was kind of, by the age of 14, I'd already been through an orphanage, and all the foster homes that I mentioned. You know, um, Used to solo life, not really confiding in people. I know that there was a lot of people there that was wanting me to heal and let stuff go. I'm sure they saw it as good as I thought I hid it. I'm sure I didn't hide it as good as I thought. So I kept to myself. I was very social, but when it came to in depth, I didn't know how to do that. Everything was kind of like on the surface for me. I didn't let people in too much, because in my mindset, here in 6 months to a year, I'm going to be in another school. I'll be in another home, learning new rules. You know, what's the point in really in-depth relationships, right? Um, So all of that kind of molded me into someone who wasn't really able to really heal, and much less talk about it. I'm still working on that now. Uh, I'm taking every day as I can. Now fortunately, I've done a lot of this healing and changing my music and my mindset, and now I'm able to talk about it finally. um, so I'm going to show some pictures right now. I'm going to take a little bit of a break to regather myself, but I'm going to show a few pictures that I have from my childhood. I don't have many. I plan on developing the others that I do have. Uh, of course, over all the homes and all the changes, I haven't really kept a lot of stuff, not been able to. There was a lot of stuff that just got lost in transition. So I want to start off with a picture of me and my sister. I believe this would be about 1994. We were still with our dad. Hopefully you can see that well. We were still with our dad, and that was our babysitter. See, in the picture, I haven't really told anybody this, but or hardly anybody really. We went to our babysitter's house, and as you can see in my hand, in my left hand, I was holding a gummy. In each hand, my sister was holding one as well. That was a snack that we got. Up until that point, we didn't really have anything to eat, and that was literally like a savings grace right there. Most of the time when I was hungry and I saw that my sister was hungry as well, of course, being the bigger brother, I would a lot of times pass it to her and act like I was fine. But I'm getting a little emotional here. It's okay. That's new as well. Normally I would grit my teeth and I wouldn't let myself experience emotions, and now I've realized that it's healing in process. You can literally see the healing coming out and the stuff shedding. So back to this. A lot of times I would push my sister. The food that I should have probably ate a lot of times. So we got to there, and I was really struggling. I was doing my best to smile, but I was feeling really weak, and I realize now that as an adult, I've had a lot of diagnoses come along because when I was growing up, I didn't have the chance to get things figured out. I was changing homes a lot, and for the most part, I didn't say anything when I would feel stuff, and I just handled it alone, right? So I realize now that that was probably one of my very first times I ever had the symptoms of syncope. I believe that's how you say it. It's where when you're under a lot of stress or anxiety or anything that's just a major stressor, right? Like hungry or anything like that, it would trigger me to like a pass out spell almost. Like I'd break out in like very big cold sweats, where I'd be basically drenched. I've had it so severe that it's actually triggered panic attacks as well, which the two combined, which was really, it was the breaking point for me. Here I was, mid-30s, going through a lot and trying to figure out how can I move forward with all this anxiety. I have passing out spells, my blood sugar, it's dropped. Like, what's going on with this panic attacks? Like, I dissociate all the time, even when I'm not wanting to. Uh, so I started to really just go into doctors and just, you know, grin and bear it for a while, because a lot of times there's just blind faith. Um, I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that I needed to deal with stuff in order to be my best self and to be in the places I'm meant to be. And that meant I needed to come out of hermit mode and start communicating and start just being open, and also meant protecting boundaries and protecting my own peace. I wasn't doing that enough. Didn't even know what that looked like. So uh, now I realized that it was syncope kicking in when me and my sister was there. Um, so uh, that was a day we had with her. With Donna was her name. She was a great babysitter. Um, I remember her son's name. His name is Little Bruce. And uh, yeah, let me collect myself a little bit. I'm still a little, got my eye ducts leaking right now. Okay. Well, I didn't realize it, but I couldn't move forward. Like, there was a space in my mind in my mid 30s where I thought that I could indefinitely move forward without facing the stuff behind me. Um, and I had my own kids, and it was at that point that I saw them living and I was a part of their life, that it just put a spotlight on me. It really did. It put a spotlight on my own inner kid that I'd pushed aside for so long. Trying to do this adult thing, listen to all the men in my life telling me, basically just keep going, don't look back. I've done that for so long that when I had kids, I couldn't properly experience joy, and the kid in me couldn't overlook that. It really couldn't. And I'm so thankful for it now. But at the time, it was so confusing because it was the happiest moments of my life. Yet there was just this feeling of just sadness. And it was overwhelming. It was to the point to where I couldn't sleep most nights, only until I hadn't slept long enough to where I'd just crash out. After a couple of days of not sleeping, your body is at the point where it's got to sleep. It's going to crash if it don't, and you can't determine that. So, as much as I tried to enjoy myself, I just put on a brave face and continued to the same old patterns, right? The same bad music, the same escaping reality, which would be in video games for me. And really, it was in anything that gave me the sense of, you know, it was basically like putting blinders on a horse, you know? Uh, sure, like, sure you can move on, but you're not going to move on in the ways that you know is right. Like, I knew that in order for me to experience joy, I couldn't overlook the stuff from my past. I couldn't overlook the fact that I was in foster care. I had all that trauma, house fires and everything else. And it was just a breaking point for me. And it was a rebuilding point. It was like my house, my foundation had to be tore down, and literally I had to rebuild it the right way. And I didn't know the right way at first, just in little pieces. Like, obviously, I knew to treat people how I wanted to be treated. Obviously, I knew that the best way for me to do this would be to put positivity out there. Like, I couldn't expect life if all I was doing was taken from other people's. Um, so there was a lot of selflessness in it, um, which I think was the key. And that's a lot of this now. I'm extremely nervous right now still. Really hot. Georgia heat is about 100 right now, and the reason why I'm doing this is because of the positivity, but the main reason is because when I was going through the homelessness, all the different home changes, the depressed nights, the nights where I just felt like I couldn't go on, whether it was here, I got another picture right here. This was, I want to say it was a couple years after the picture you just saw. This was actually when we was in a foster home. Um, that was our first actual Christmas, around the big tree and all. That was like super special. Uh, and This one right here was with her dad. And this was when it says December 8th, 1995. Hannah, Brandon, and Jeff. Yeah. And you see the eagle on his hat. My life correlates to an eagle so much, especially in my healing at this age in my life. God really does know what he's doing, and he is the greatest author. But that was the last visitation we had of our dad. That's the last time I looked at my daddy's eyes. Here in this realm, I know there's gonna, I know we're going to heaven, and I know he's gonna be there without polio. I'm not sure if you can see, but he was in his wheelchair. So what got me through those times, whether there was no one around me, was Jesus. There's no doubt about that. There would have been no other way. I've gone down the wrong roads before. I've tried all this and that, and it felt like the whole time the only way was right there. I just had to figure it out for myself. We're stubborn. But what got me through those moments, and a lot of the moments that I can't show, was literally thinking about the people that I could help. Whether it's when I'm 60 years old, 21 years from now, or when I'm, tomorrow, or as I walk each day, every path I cross, every connection that I make, even if it's just holding the door for somebody, or just have a blessed day. I try to do it in everything that I do, in every interaction. I'm certainly not perfect. Definitely, I'm a work in progress, like we all are. But that's the beauty of it, right? Like, I see it now that, like, a finished product is complete, but I don't feel like that'll happen until we get all that we need here and we're ready for the next, right? And so I feel like I meant, like, my life story, being an orphan and dealing with all the mental health stuff that I've both inherited from my parents, and both that's just come from, improperly healed trauma. I really feel like it's preparing me to be in place of being like a guide, like helping others navigate the same waters, the same treacherous waters, and the same dark places. There's beauty in the struggle. There always is. I realize every time I go through a dark period, it's after I get through it, it's like I've been through a checkpoint. Um, I'll give you an example. It's like going through a loss, right? It's like going through a loss with your family, um, and and then you realize that it opens up more. You know, I just got lost in that, but I feel like I'm meant to be a guide, and help those with my story. Um, I know there's a lot of vulnerability in this, and there's really is, and I'm just grateful now that I'm at a place to where I can start saying, you know what, um, I'm done with me now, uh, as you know, to the point to where I was at a point where I couldn't even talk. I couldn't express myself without getting sent into a major PTSD event. Now that I've done all this work, I feel like I'm in a place to where I can start doing this slowly. I know I'm saying a lot. I'm sorry. Uh, uh, but yeah, I I feel like that I need to do this slowly and be 100% about how I got here, because it wasn't my own doing. Um, in the last video I showed in my live where I was hit right here by a lawnmower motor, right? Um, I've had concussions. I've um, almost ended my own life. Um, and let me tell you, we can't give up on the Lord and what He has for us. Every checkpoint that I reach, when I look back after I'd come through it, I couldn't have been happier. I couldn't have been happier with the progress I made, with how strong and resilient I'd been. Um, each and every foster home, it was like a roadmap, like looking at the stars. And I just got brought back to when Jesus was being born, right? Those shepherds, they were protectors as well, and they had blind faith, and they followed the star, and they let essentially what was greater than them lead them to where they were meant to be. And you know, what greater reward? I couldn't imagine a greater thing than to welcome the Savior and Protector of this world and into this world. To be there with my own eyes. You know, like I hope to see that in the next. I'll see that in the next realm, but there's no way we can hope to see that now and to be that. So it just lets you know, just continue on the journey. Keep the faith. Keep going to God, because He knows all. He is the controller of all, the wind, the birds, um, the rain. You know, the parting of the rain, and then after the rain, it smells so good. Everything is so bright. Everything is just thankful for the rain, and that's what I've come to. Uh, in my next live, I'm going to show all my diagnosis. I don't just have those four mental diagnoses, which I say diagnosis now because nothing is impossible to overcome. It's just all in how you do it, and the tools you utilize. And that's why I'm here, to help share those tools and and to give God the glory, because you know, as I look forward now, I'm able to dream. Uh, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, that was like the peak of my life. Now that I've done the work and I've started to do this and start just the shadow work, the trigger work, everything, I realize now that it's exactly as planned. It's now I'm being shown like the next 10 years in pieces. It's like every little piece that I get just keeps me seeing that there's a bigger picture that I'm not supposed to get. Like, that's the surprise. Like, if we knew it all and we knew exactly what would happen next, really, what would be the joy? God knows His children. He knows that we're meant to be surprised, and we love to be surprised. And He wants us surprised because nothing else can take the credit. So, I just wanted to hold a little 30-minute session with everybody. I'm really hot and pretty thirsty, and crazy me, I didn't bring no water with me, even though I made some. Yep. So I guess I'll get back to the house, get into some AC. So in a week, I'm going to start creating a poll and trying to figure out a way to where I can have my fans, because I cannot see the chat box right now. I would love to be able to see who all's in here and any questions they may have, because I feel like that'll help me not only bring you in and make you feel more involved, but also I think it'll help me like stay on track and be more pointed in my communication. I hope I've done well. So I'm gonna be bringing up more pictures, more of what I've been diagnosed with professionally over the years. Some of the stuff is legit, like the heart disease worry. I'm trying to prevent that, so I'm trying to take care of my cholesterol and stay on top of my vitamins, my B12, my D3, all of that, and the information I've gotten over the years as I've been just walking in blind faith, trusting God and holding His hand. I've gotten a lot of information that's really helped my quality of life, not just internally, but externally well. And now I see that everything and where this leads is ultimately, it's just, the cherry on top, because I'm at a place now to where I'm starting to really enjoy life. I'm starting to finally experience joy and all that I should have. That was my 20% battery notification. I just got thrown off. So I thank you all for being here and your time. I'm going to make a post here in a couple days giving you all plenty of notification so you can all be here. And I'll make those polls so you can ask questions and be more involved in the process. And if you have, I want to help out as much as I can. I feel like now that I've come this far, I feel like a tree now bearing fruit. I feel the fruit isn't for the tree. It's meant to be spread out and take root wherever it's meant to take root. And so I'm going to close in prayer and get myself to some coolness. All right, everybody, bow your head with me. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for the opportunity to start sharing my story Thank you for the journey that you've had me on. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love and the guidance. Lord, I pray that everyone watching, everyone who will watch, will just get an inspiration, will just see in my words just how glorious you are and how great of an author you are. I pray that they seek you, that they trust in you despite anything that may come across. I pray this in your holy name, Jesus. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. I made it through a sweaty day. I'm going to try to figure that out for next time. It's really hot. And thankful for the heat. All right. Y'all stay blessed.